we are tied up 1-1, and so, I mean, you're counting HerO out. What's going to happen now?
I'm counting HerO out, but yeah, apparently I really shouldn't do that. HerO just making me eat my own words, but of course that is what pros like to do. They just like to make casters look a fool.
Especially somebody at HerO's caliber doing a really, really nice build in the last game. You know, we were a little strange at the beginning with the early stages of the gate into the cybercore, but he made it work out beautifully.
Yeah, that early aggression, you know, made viOLet spend so much on the Zerglings that really made HerO kind of make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, let's go swap over into the main screen. As we can see our two players spawning down here once again in the bottom left-hand corner from Team Azubu. It is our blue Zerg player, viOLet.
Excuse me, and up here in the top right corner, coming from Team Liquid, tying the series back up 1-1, it is Liquid HerO. And so this is on Daybreak, and so this is going to be interesting. A lot of people, you know, there was a long duration there where Daybreak was a PvZ map, and a lot of Protest players have brought it back, going for the quick robotics facility. And so it looks like HerO dropping his first pylon in base again.
Well, it looks like he... Why would he possibly do it on this map is my question. There's a very long rush distance.
Yeah, there is.
That gateway type of aggression might not work out in his favor. Now, what I really like to say about this map is that Broodlords on this map are so incredibly strong.
Yeah, there's so many areas where they just...
There's so many, exactly. The lanes, you can go between the lanes, you can go, you know, around the lanes. There's just so many. And not only that, but you can start putting down a whole bunch of spine crawlers and really just completely denying paths for the Protoss. Now that's where it starts to get a little bit iffy. Now Protoss love to do so many drops on this map as well. What are you thinking both of these players are going to be really relying on?
You know, I'm going to say HerO's going to do the same build he did last game. Well, oh, actually,
Forge Fast Expand from the back. Maybe he's going to try and make viOLet think that he's doing it again, but he's not.
And this would definitely be something that a high caliber player like HerO would do. As far as viOLet go, I think he's going to do exactly what he did in the first game and the second game. He's going to do the standard, go for the pool, go for the hatchery. If he sees any sort of aggression coming, go for quick speed, able to get that gas geyser up. But HerO, I'm not sure what he's going to do with this exactly. I mean, he's going to cannon the natural. It's looking like what he's going to set up. But after that, I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, he's just going to expand behind it and kind of tech?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's got the nice little pylon back up in the front again. So I think it's just, you know, trying to play a little bit of the metagame maybe, or you know, just doing what HerO does, making us look like fools.
Yeah, the Overlords are actually not heading anywhere in this direction right now. Of course, viOLet does have another one on the way. Is he just going to sit behind and cannon up the third? Is that kind of the... And there's the Nexus first. Well, I guess it's not Nexus first because the Forge is on the high ground. This is really different.
Still, the Overlord is going to see nothing but a Nexus and a pylon. So he might just be a little bit playing the meta on viOLet. What's going down there at the natural? That is just a photon cannon. So HerO just playing his own style, doing what he wants to do. And that's great. You know, maybe he wants to put that Forge back there so that it's not possibly picked off. He can get those upgrades nice and early. Daybreak became a really popular Roach Rush map. So, you know, the Stefano-style 3-base builds became very prevalent, and we can see already that viOLet's trying to gear up to take that third base as soon as possible. As soon as he saw that there was a photon going down there at the natural, he knows that HerO's not doing anything anytime soon.
Yep, and he actually is able to get good vision on his opponent's base, sees the Forge, and so now he knows what initially happened, and so he's playing a little more defensive. These two Zerglings are going to chase this probe out. He was able to get decent confirmation, and as always, the neutral supply depot goes down.
Oh, that poor neutral supply depot. That poor neutral supply depot. You know, I wanna put out like an entire aid and start an entire fund for the neutral Terran, man, because they lose so many buildings.
You know, I like what you're saying about the Forge, though, like kind of keeping the back so he can't lose it while it's upgrading. Kind of like when people started moving their cybercores back on maps like Cloud Kingdom to avoid losing it during the mid stages and not able to bring in anything else but Zealots at that point. So it's kind of the same concept, I guess.
It is possibly the same concept. I mean, HerO obviously has a reason for everything. What's his reason right now? We might not see it yet. You know, he's just starting to put a couple of the brush strokes down on his painting. Eventually, we'll start to see what masterpiece he's got coming up out for us. We've got the Cybercore just finishing up, Warp Gates coming down, and +1 weapons as well. This might be a very well-timed push at one point. Yes, we do see the third gas going down there at the natural, so I think we could be seeing a little bit of aggression coming out from HerO.
And of course, viOLet does see it with his Overlord flying directly over, and actually another Overlord's kind of going alongside. There is a Stalker going to be out here just a second here, and I'm wondering if this Overlord will make it out.
Well, my question is what viOLet might possibly be thinking about where the first Forge was.
Yeah.
Where was that first Forge where the photon cannon just went down, or did they change Protoss that I didn't know about it?
I don't know if this
Proxy
is going to make it
Forge,
out, man.
new Protoss meta.
So it looks like right now HerO's actually going out to get a sentry along with. There's the robotics facility, of course, very, very popular on a map like this. And no, the Overlord does make it out with 23 HP. HerO's got to be a little bit disgruntled about that because that'd be a really, really small victory.
Nerf Overlord speed.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly.
But we have the creep tumors now going down here for viOLet as well, trying to get that creep spread. Very, very important on this map. If you can cover all 3 lanes in creep spread, you have such good map vision and lets you know what from where the pushes are coming. And that's completely invaluable information when you're going against Protoss. That might be doing some sort of aggression, like we're seeing. We already see a Warp Prism going down and 3 gateways. So yes, there is going to be a lot of aggression coming down here from HerO. Probably doing a little bit of drop play. And I really want to watch this game. This is going to be so much fun because this is 1-1 best of 3 in the winners bracket. So loser here does go down to loser's bracket. I'm not exactly sure if I remember who they're going against off the top of my head, but obviously the loser's bracket just as intimidating as the winner's bracket at IPL 5 because we just have so many pros. If you haven't checked out the main stage, we have that really cool fighter screen selection of all the 72 players that have come out here to IPL 5.
Oh, wow. Is this circling really going to get a full scout off on this? Wow. That is very, very nicely done by viOLet. viOLet does have Roach Warren 1-1 and Zergling speed on the way. This is a sentry drop, and I'm wondering if he's going to try and go behind the mineral field or exactly what he's going to do with it. But this Stalker's going to try and return home. I don't think he's going to make it because speed is about 10 seconds from being done. Ooh.
Well, +1 has finished here for HerO, so now those Zealots are incredibly powerful. They do take out Zergling in 1 less hit. +1/+1 now going down here for viOLet. He's got Roaches now coming out as well as a Lair. So unless this does a lot of damage, HerO's going to be in a little bit of a sticky situation. viOLet is trying to fend this off pretty well. The Warp Prism does come in and nab up those 2 Zealots before they do die. Unfortunately, 2 Zealots were lost today.
2 Zealots and a neutral
I will remember you.
+2 is on the way, so definitely HerO not making any mistakes in upgrades in this game, trying to get them up as quickly as he possibly can. Blink is on the way as well, and 2 additional gateways. I believe that puts him up to 6.
Yeah, that will put him up to 6 gateways. He's got, with the Blink and +2, this is going to be a very formidable mid-game army coming out here from HerO. He's already up to 83, but viOLet already taking a huge food advantage at 113 in this game with 3 bases already. HerO might just be going just straight up all in and hopefully ending this game pretty soon.
I think he's actually opted to take a third. His robotics facility is no longer doing anything. He's not making any additional immortals, and he's moving all his units down to the 3rd location, just about to hit that 400 mineral mark. But yeah, I think viOLet is not going to let this happen, man.
I don't know if that actually was supposed to. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was actually trying to feign it because he had the probe in there trying to feign a 3rd base and then going for an all-in anyway. The probe is still there. Now here comes a whole bunch of Zergling and Roaches, but backing off as soon as the Warp Prism now moving back over to the 3rd base. So the sentries did defend a little bit better there. Now the Observer letting him take out a couple of those creep tumors, and again, that sight range incredibly important for Zubu viOLet here.
Yeah, and I like what he's doing here. What you were talking about, those timings, the Immortal Sentry timing. Something that is basically, I would say, pretty important is your creep spread. Able to see when it's coming, which direction it's coming from, and able to actually use that to your advantage is very, very important. I mean, it's not too much at this point, but it's nice to stop the creep spread from making it to the middle of the map right now.
Definitely. Yeah. When the creep spread starts hitting the middle of your natural is when you're supposed to say, all right, hold on here.
Something's not right. Yeah.
But, Korean Zergs are incredibly good at getting that creep spread down, and it's very good to start stopping it. And a lot of Protosses, a little bit of a pause here coming out here from here, but a lot of Protosses have been very, very active in trying to use whatever they can to start taking out those creep tumors as soon as possible, because it just gives Zerg so much movement and really starts hurting the drop play, because once Zerg has the ability to move from base to base very quickly, your drops become a lot less effective when 5,000 Zergling come out of nowhere.
That's an excellent point. 5,000 Zerglings would be a lot.
Yes, it was. I think it only takes up 3 supply, though, so I mean, it's pretty balanced.
Oh, makes sense. We do see right now on the production tab, HerO's already getting +3. This is the 11-minute mark, almost 12-minute mark right now. viOLet is getting Pathogen Glance, 2-2, and Roach Speed. So
they call Creator Prime the Hephaestus Protoss because he upgrades so much.
I don't get it.
Hephaestus was the blacksmith and blacksmithing upgrades, yes. And Forge.
I got you.
But I think HerO is putting a little bit of a test to that challenge today, going for +3 so early. It seems like every game it gets a little bit earlier. The first game was at 20 minutes. The second game was at, I think, 12 minutes or 13 minutes when he got +3. And now it's at the 11-minute mark where +3 has already begun. So it seems like increasingly closer and closer upgrades. And I really like that. The +3 on the Protoss army is incredibly strong.
What's surprising to me right now, we're at the 12-minute mark, and viOLet has not actually opted to take a 4th base yet. He's still kind of sitting on 3 base. He's getting, a good tech. He's going to start getting the infestors out, which are, of course, everybody's favorite unit right now. But he hasn't tried to take a 4th at either location, at the center or the northern side of the map. And I'm wondering if he may actually go for some sort of pressure against HerO here.
He's a little bit scared right now, I'd have to say, because we already have warp prisms moving around the map, and the 4th base is on this map. Either you take a forward position. Hold on here. Let's get the... Oh, we're observers. We can't. We're observers. So they... do we just unstart? We can't unpause. We're spectators. Just go. I can't even tell them to just go. There we go.
There you go. viOLet's in control as always. He wants to get back into this game as soon as possible. But we're all good to go. So there are a ton of Zerglings in production from viOLet. I wonder if he's going to try and prevent this 3rd from going up from HerO. It's only halfway done at this point, and he really hasn't started his 4th base yet.
Yeah, quite true. So as I was saying before, you either take a forward base or you take a base that's a little bit more spread out, and when there's warp prisms all about, it just becomes so difficult for you to defend them.
viOLet canceling 5 spine crawlers.
I think he was thinking that HerO's going to be putting out a little bit of aggression, but HerO's just perfectly fine sitting back and grabbing that 3rd base. We were seeing before that HerO did put down that 1 probe and the 1 pylon, but I don't know if viOLet did actually get vision of the Nexus going down. He might be thinking that that was actually a meta play itself. No, he did. Okay. Curious. So yeah, I think as soon as he saw that the actual Nexus did go down, he knew that HerO's probably not going to be doing anything anytime soon.
This is where it gets really scary for a Zerg player on a map like Daybreak. Right now, HerO's getting up to 6 gas. He's going to be able to get a mothership out here in just a few moments if he wants to. He may drop a 2nd robotics facility. He has already started his Colossus production, and he's getting quick upgrades. So this is where it gets really, really scary. Exactly.
But the Hive is now on the way for viOLet. He's getting his +2/+2 on the melee, and as soon as the Hive finishes up, I think he's going to be able to get the +3/+3 soon enough on his melee and ground carapace as well. So again, we're going to be moving on straight on into that Spire tech. We can see that's already halfway done itself, and I think viOLet's just going to try and jump straight up into those Broodlords because, once again, as we were saying before in the beginning of this map, it's incredibly strong on Daybreak.
Yep, and here come the Spine Crawlers this time. It doesn't look like they're going to get canceled. This is where viOLet's going to get a 4th base, turtle up a bit, hide behind these Spine Crawlers with a couple of nice fungal growths, and try and get up to that really, really scary Broodlord count. And so I got a question for you. I mean, we always talk about critical mass for units like Stalkers and sometimes Broodlords. I mean, what do you think a critical mass of Broodlords would be?
200
That would be really, really scary.
I think critical mass is when actually what happens, it's really weird. The chemical balance of Broodlords and motherships actually hit event horizon, and critical mass actually turns into a black hole, and this massive vortex just opens up in the middle of the map. And for some strange reason, and I can't really explain it, Archons are just incredibly attracted to that vortex as well. Unlike other units, like some units also will fill on if they're right there, but Archons will come from all across the map to go straight on into that vortex. It's the weirdest thing in the entire world. I can't explain it just yet.
Do you think
I'm working on a formula.
Do you think they're misinformed about what's actually in the vortex? Like maybe they tell them it's like a paid vacation or something. Actually, looks like viOLet's moving up here on the top of the ramp. Some nice force heals from HerO again, but there is a little bit of a leak. A couple of Zerglings do escape. viOLet throwing away a little bit of supply, but not a big deal. 34 Zerglings are in production. There's that quick 3-3 you were talking about, and HerO actually teching up quite a bit. He's got his Templar of Archives done. Archons are already done. Looks like he's going to go for a Zealot drop in the main as well.
Looking at the unit counting station, I'm really just curious how many Corruptors are out on the map right now. Only 8 right now, and he's resupplying his army right now with a whole bunch of Zergling. Last I saw, the Greater Spire now on the way. But Crackling upgrade also on the way, as well as the +3/+3 from before. So he doesn't have the Broodlord tech just yet. He's got to wait. But HerO's got this massive army that's incredibly strong right now, and doing some drops into the main base. Because it looks like he's going to go straight for that Greater Spire. And if he's actually able to take out that Greater Spire, this is going to be a huge loss for viOLet. Now those Zealots are doing a lot of damage. The Greater Spire does go down. Actually canceled at the last minute there. And now it looks like HerO's trying to wrap around up to the 4th base, but there's no 4th base just there yet. It looks like there might be a major engagement coming up here, though. If HerO does get the positioning he wants, there's actually not that many force fields he has to spend here.
Beautiful.
Some beautiful force fields do go down. Fungal Gross also going down on the rest of the army.
He needs to be careful with his Colossi here. He really needs to keep as many as possible because there's a very mean Zerg force behind this. The Immortals are still alive. There's still a very high Stalker count, currently sitting at 21. And now HerO is pushing forward. Beautiful force fields once again, denying any of his units from escaping. The Corruptors are going down, and now HerO can return home victorious. I mean, he's got a Stargate on the way. He's getting another War Prism, and viOLet is reset, getting another Spire, trying to get up to his Greater Spire.
Yeah, he put down 2 Spires. He has to have a little bit of a continuity plan in case, you know, somewhere, again, HerO drops him again. Those Zealots did so much damage from before. This is actually a pretty interesting position for viOLet to be engaging upon because the Sentries, I don't think they have any energy, but if they did, there would be some really nice force fields going down, but I think viOLet does know that. He is charging up the ramp, doing a lot of damage, but HerO does fend him off at the last minute. HerO resupplying back up to be on par with viOLet.
You know, to be honest, they traded pretty evenly there, but I think HerO comes out on top because, of course, he did stop the Greater Spire from being started. And did he put the 2 Spires near each other? Oh, it looks like he may have canceled one of them.
Yeah, I think he popped out both of them, but only made one of them to a Greater Spire. What really HerO came out on top of was he also grabbed a 4th base down in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yes.
So now HerO's going to be on equal bases with viOLet, but here comes another engagement again. The Infestor's getting a couple of Fungal Growths really well down.
There we go.
But the Stalkers are trying to get out of there, but the Fungal Growths are doing so much work. The Roaches are actually getting cleaned up, but here comes another resupply of Zealots going right on into the battle. But it looks like HerO's going to back up for now. He's actually pretty low in his unit composition. He's only got Stalkers and Zealots. No 5th base coming out here from viOLet just yet. Looks like there was just another bit of War Prism harass moving around the map once again. I think viOLet's ready for it, so HerO being smart, pulling back again with that War Prism. I think he just wants to go deploy somewhere else, pop out those Zealots, and get ready for another massive Zealot drop again. So HerO being incredibly good in this game with the harassment, but he's still falling a little bit behind in the food supply.
He is, and viOLet right now currently sitting with 2,000 minerals and 2,000 gas, is ready to build his dream army. He's going to get those Corruptors out. His Greater Spire is done, so he will start building Broodlords, and so there's the first one already started, starting to get a little bit better on the upgrades. He's getting +1 ranged, but HerO, we were talking about upgrades, man, +2 armor on the way, +3 is already done for his weapons, and a Mothership on 4 base.
Yeah, here comes that Mothership, and once that Mothership does come out, it's going to be really nice. 9 Broodlords coming out here right now for viOLet. He did get that Greater Spire he always wanted. You know, sometimes when it's just actually to be December, so it's just about Christmas season. So I think we can let viOLet have that nice little Christmas gift of having those Broodlords in this game. I think HerO will be Santa Claus in that. But like Santa Claus, if viOLet's a bad kid and tries hitting Santa Claus, Santa Claus is going to take those away with a vortex.
And of course, HerO's the perfect color for it too. He's red.
Yeah. Jolly old HerO.
So HerO only with 2 Colossi on the field. The 3rd one is coming out, but it looks like, might be a run by from viOLet, but the Zerglings are going to get cleaned up here by the Archons. Zerglings are trying to make it back home. The Infestors are what's important here. They need to stay alive as long as possible, but viOLet getting in a pretty good spot, trying to hover over the gap there, but a couple of Infested Terrans do catch the War Prism out of position. There are no units inside of it, and actually looks like the remainder of the drop was cleaned up.
Now, Psystorm's also coming out here from HerO, and I love this, you know, he's just kind of getting all the upgrades that he can possibly get. He's got just a little bit of a bank right now, only about 600. So I find it kind of curious that he is spending money on the Storms, but he does need them later on in the game. But it looks like this might be the engagement that he's looking for. The Stalker's now blinking forward, trying to take out as many of the Broodlords as possible. A couple of them do go down. It looks like actually all of them might go down.
Yeah, and I think the Colossi are going to be the real problem here. They are pushing forward. None of them are getting affected. The Corruptors were way out of position. Now there is a bunch of cloaked units here. The supply is definitely in favor of HerO, and the last couple Broodlords are going to get targeted down here. I believe there's still 2 Stalkers up. Can they actually catch it before he makes it over the gap? And it looks like, yes, they can. And now viOLet's going to return home with a bunch of Infestors, and that's really all he retained from that fight. Yeah,
and I really hope that those Infestors have some sort of energy, because HerO's now moving across the map with yet that Mothership and a huge army once again. viOLet with 0 Broodlords. He's got 4 more on the way and 6 Corruptors now, but definitely not the number that he wants to have against an army like this, especially with a Mothership that has not spent his Vortex yet.
Yep, it didn't have enough energy for that engagement, but now currently sitting at 100, should be around 200 for the next engagement. Looks like HerO was trying to do a little bit of harass, but again, viOLet's only on 4 base. HerO's taking his 5th base right now.
Yeah, so HerO is taking this game pretty well right now. He's got to be a little bit careful. That Mothership is kind of slow, so if it does get caught out of position, he will be in a bit of trouble. He's definitely going to need that Vortex in the next battle. More and more Broodlords coming in here. Looking at the unit counting station, we have 5 Broodlords, and I think there's another 4 on the way. But here comes another engagement coming out from HerO, trying to catch viOLet off guard, and everything's stacked up. The Vortex does go down Is HerO going to get all of his Archons in there? That's the question. He gets a couple of them in there. The rest of the Archons are chewing through the infested Terrans. He's got to run them in,
Oh,
yes.
there he goes.
And that's that chemical reaction I was talking about before. Is HerO going to be able to clean up the rest of the game right now? So many of the Corruptors are going down. All the Infestors are trapped in that vortex. Could this be the game right here and now? Is HerO going to go and proceed up? The Mothership does go down. The Colossus getting cleaned up, and actually HerO does not get the huge engagement that he wanted. The Archons actually did not do as much damage as I expected them to do. Look at the unit counting station. We only have 4 Broodlords left, but that's still 4 Broodlords that he can't deal with right now.
Yeah, and HerO, I thought he was winning that engagement. There was a huge supply drop after the majority of the air forces came out of the vortex, but viOLet retained so many of them. Those infested Terrans were doing so much damage, cleaned up the Mothership, and cleaned up the remaining forces very, very quickly. And so now HerO, they're even on supply again, and they're going to be even on bases here in just a moment.
Yeah, and with viOLet getting another pair of gas, that's only worse for HerO, because more gas for viOLet means more Infestors and more Broodlords. 8 Infestors now on the way. viOLet spending all of his bank up right now, though. Look at how much money viOLet has. It's only 200.
Sure.
He's barely keeping in this game right now. If HerO lets this 5th base go up, viOLet has a little bit more of a fighting chance. But if HerO takes this down, this is actually going to be really bad for viOLet, because he doesn't really have the bank that he needs to remax up again. He's only stuck at 160 food right now.
He needs to start blinking these Stalkers if he wants to actually kill down this hatchery down to 300 HP. There's the blink down to 200 HP, 112 HP, down to 33 HP, and it does go down. So very nicely done by HerO, and actually a drop at the natural. The 2 High Templar do come out, 0 kills on each of them, so they haven't been able to do too much. He doesn't want to lose this War Prism here. There are Infestors coming. Are they actually going to catch out of position here? He needs to drop these units. They're actually not hovering above the drop zone, and oh no, 2 High Templar do go down inside of the War Prism.
But he does do a lot of damage, and of course harassing viOLet is what he needs to do right now. Taking out that 5th base was huge. viOLet doesn't have any of those gas chambers that he needs. 1 extractor did go up, but the other one's still not down. And still you have the entire time of that hatchery to be built. A lot of Archons coming out. Once again, the Mothership looks like its food supply blocked or something. I think it's corrupted. It has to be one of the Nexuses must be corrupted or something. It's paused. Oh,
yep, it was good call.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on with that Mothership?
It's unpowered. Wait.
Something's a bit odd. Yeah, Nexus can't be unpowered.
Oh wow!
But that was actually one of my my initial criteria too. It has to be unpowered.
These these +3 attack zealots just tear apart this hatchery so quick. It's actually killing it much faster than it is regenerating. But of course, these Zerglings can clean up very, very quickly down to 300 HP. Are they actually going to clean up down to 200? Might actually knock it down, but no, it survives with 70 HP, and now it's going to complete here in just a second.
Yeah, but it still only has about 200, maybe 300 HP when it finishes. So yeah, it just needs a little bit of a tap. Here comes a whole bunch of zealots once again, and viOLet losing all of his base, his 5th base just again and again and again. And that's what happens when you have these Broodlord armies, is you don't have the mobility that you need.
Yeah, very nice. And actually, Speed War Prism, there's 1 High Templar and 3 Zealots in here looking for a good group.
Oh, he's going straight for the infestation pit, and once again, that's another thing that has a low amount of health. And here comes that ship. It doesn't have a storm ready.
Ooh,
it does,
very nice,
and a nice little storm drop here at the 3rd base. viOLet,
he is just all over the place, man. He's losing his fifth base once again. And that one actually did not get canceled. These Zealots are going to clean up a couple of drones here. And now HerO, even on supply with viOLet, his composition though, man, look at this. There's very few Zealots, a good amount of Archons, a couple of High Templar with a great amount of energy. HerO is looking unstoppable right now.
The thing is that he still has to get a really good engagement against viOLet. Now, he is in a really good position, and that's great for HerO, but he still needs that engagement. If he completely whiffs this this engagement, it's going to be really bad for him. He's not going to be able to come back as soon as he needs to. I mean, his production actually this game has actually been incredibly slow. Yeah,
he does have, and viOLet has 18 Broodlords. 18, talking about critical mass that HerO has to deal with somehow. Look at all these units are grouped up right now. The Mothership is not in position for a Vortex, and HerO needs to get out of here, man. He needs to get a very, very good engagement like you were talking about. But a good portion of his army is up here at the top. There's another Speed War Prism moving around, so he's just trying to dry out his opponent as long as possible. And viOLet, I mean, he can't really push because every time he does, HerO just attacks.
Yeah, but at the same time, viOLet is still up to 200 in the food supply count. Sorry, actually at 175. But if he does get up to 200, it doesn't really matter if he doesn't have any more resources. He still has an incredibly formidable force.
Sure, and those Broodlords are going to be something to contend with, man. If he doesn't land the perfect Vortex, it's going to be really hard to deal with it. There's only 160 energy, so only one Vortex is available right now.
Man, I can't even imagine what viOLet is thinking right now. just getting harassed all over the place. But at the same time, you know, you have to laugh when you're like, okay, you can harass everywhere, but I still have an army that can A-move you no problem.
And it looks like he's pushing the third base as well. A ton of infested Terrans do get dropped down. HerO doing the appropriate response, just pulling back,
but
he's not going to engage on top of him.
All of the Broodlords are clumping up. Yes, viOLet now finally starting to realize that all of those Broodlords are starting to clump up again. SC2 AI making that a little bit more difficult for HerO to deal with. But, oh my, if HerO doesn't get this engagement just perfectly, viOLet's down to 142 food, HerO up to 187, but a lot of that is in probes. viOLet actually pretty much probably doesn't have any drones left at this point. 30 more Zergling on the way. Yeah, he's down to 26 drones, and HerO looks like he's just going to go for a base race again, but HerO, we learned last time this doesn't work out so well for you.
I'm surprised he's actually going to go for this. He has the bank right now to reconstruct a very, very quick army, so he could actually push into this, and if as long as he does a decent amount of damage, he could reconstruct very quickly. But actually look like he might get a really good engagement here. Might be able to catch the Broodlords on top of a lot of ground here, but no, viOLet's going to pull back in a perfect amount of time.
Oh,
Mothership does move forward,
Mothership.
He doesn't have no parasite, and there's the fungal growth on the Mothership.
At the last second there, but there is a pretty good vortex that does go down there. Is he going to be able to get the second one? Is the question here. He's waiting for a second. He's waiting for a second. He has to make sure that he has enough for the second vortex to grab as much as possible. Now here comes all the Archons. He's going to go try and get in there. The Mothership does go down. The Stalkers are blinking up, and they're trying to take out as many of the Broodlords as possible, but I don't see any of the Archons in that initial engagement and going into that toilet. But are these Broodlords too much for HerO to deal with? Did HerO just toss away the game in this bad engagement? And that's exactly what I was talking about before. This is such on the wire. The food supply is pretty even at this point, but all the Broodlords are starting to go down at this point. I can't see where HerO's forces are. He was doing a lot of harassment before, but HerO down to 62 food. This is not looking too good, JMRO. This is not looking good at all for HerO.
But if we look at income right now, I mean, they're actually pretty even. viOLet is going to run out of minerals at that center base shortly here, but HerO needs to stop throwing over these Stalkers, needs to retain as much as he can. There's only a couple more Broodlords left. Looks like there's 3 on the field with 1 more in production. If somehow HerO can scrap together a small force, he may be able to hold this off and actually take the game back.
It's all up into possibles right now. This game is I am on the edge of my seat. I can't even possibly comprehend what's going through both of these players' minds right now. HerO is he's got to be popping in his units from somewhere. Yes, there's a little bit of a movement from a natural to the third. That one Broodlord does move forward, but it looks like the photon cannons are not focusing down. There's so many Zergling coming in here, chewing up all the rest of the forces here for HerO, and that one lone Zealot trying to take out that 5th base for viOLet. Oh,
yeah,
man.
This Nexus is going to dip so quick. Look at these 3 adrenal glands there. Just take it down. And a couple of units do come up from behind with HerO. 45 supply to 94. And, man, you weren't kidding. That engagement really, really hurt HerO here. He does actually have a couple of High Templar on the field with a good amount of energy. If he scrapped together just a few more units, he may be able to land some perfect storms.
But his gas geysers are all spent. We're at the 35-minute mark. I don't know if HerO can come back from this. Oh my, nice. One storm does go down, a second storm does go down, but is it enough? Another storm goes down, and all the High Templar are taken out. There's only a couple of Archons left. The probes being moved over from the other mineral patch, and now HerO's down to 32 food supply. HerO looks like he's going to be dipping into the loser's bracket. Oh, this is not looking too good at all for him right now. Now he's trying to move forward with those Stalkers, but I think this might be GG as soon as he loses these Stalkers because he's only got 2 Archons left. 21 food supply left here for HerO, and viOLet looks like he's just going to pick apart these Archons from afar, getting just all the fungal growth down, and all the Zergling do move in.
Wow.
GG is called, and HerO loses the game and the series.
I got to say, you know, you're talking about in the earlier stages, him going for the